Module 1 of AHEAD 753, the political and economic context of public higher education. Neoliberalism is an ideology that's based on the assumption that advancing the human being welfare can be achieved by liberating individuals and allowing them to be more entrepreneurial and free to be able to do things outside the public structure. And so your authors use this concept of neoliberalism to look at why higher education has been losing funding from the state in particular. And they came up with 6 propositions. The first one is that we face an economic global capital crisis, and I think we'd all probably agree with that. The second is the crisis of capital can be used to promote intense, rational, growing inequalities in the distribution of funding. And how that has worked out in higher education is public higher education has other sources of funding, such as tuition and grants. So if you have to cut the state funding, the first thing the state does often is to cut higher education, because we do have those additional funding. The third proposition is intense social economic rationing has had a profound impact on the content and structure of public goods. In other words, when you kind of rational and you have less money, it's changed the structure of higher education. The fourth is the reassembling of the welfare state and tightly aligning the efforts to legitimize the capitalization of public assets during moments of economic crisis. And the way that's played out has been, it's a challenge during economic downturn is when higher education needs more funding, but it's often when the state doesn't have the funding to give. So when there's people that need more education and more job retraining, the money's not there. Proposition 5, the starvation of public agencies and reallocation of public resources and experimenting with private de-investment, as well as leads into the 6th one, which is that wealth and income growth has led to social and political turmoil and increased surveillance and control. And we're starting to see that within higher education. So particularly in the community colleges and the public teaching colleges, there's less resources where people who can't afford higher education need it most. So reflecting critically on these 6 propositions, which ones do you agree with and which ones don't you agree with? And how do you think that impacts higher ed?